Hey guys, hello there. Welcome to the show. We've got, hey, my dear friend, the one, the only, the CEO of Apparel Redefined. We've got John Leroy. John, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, Kurt. How are you?
Oh my goodness gracious, I'm doing absolutely phenomenal. And we've got a really special guest today, my co-host with the most, this wonderful human being, Damon Pistolka. Damon, how are you, dude?
I'm doing great, Kurt. Happy to be here.
Awesome. I can tell. I can just I can feel the energy coming right through the computer, dude. Like just, hey, maybe you need to like settle down. I'm just kidding. So
I will.
let's
I will.
let's talk. We're gonna geek out. We want to talk about have you heard of this social media platform? It's called LinkedIn. Have you done anything with LinkedIn?
I've heard of it. I've
You've
heard of
heard
it.
of it? Okay.
Yeah.
Now just talk to us a little bit about your journey. I'm gonna pull up your profile in a second here. Talk to us about your journey, like before, in all seriousness, you got on early, you were an early adapter, but you weren't really active. And then you flipped a switch and you really have figured out LinkedIn. Just share a little bit on your LinkedIn journey.
Yeah. Well, I think I started logging in and set up my account in like 2005, so it's been over 20 years now. And really, in the beginning, it was just like everyone else. You just kind of put a little bit about your resume on there, and that's all you do. Um, And fast forward into starting different businesses and doing things, I started to build my profile a little bit more. But it was really in 2015 when I started to see how it was being used. Microsoft had just purchased it, I think, recently at that time frame, and really started to be more. And people won't like to hear this, but it'll be more Facebook-like, where you have people actually posting things on it. Because, 10, 15 years ago, there was very little posting at all going on LinkedIn. And I started doing a little bit of it. It was probably 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I started posting a little bit. And then I just continued to do that. And then in 2020, and all the time I was kind of, researching profiles, seeing what the people are doing, seeing what people that at that time even that had, hundreds of thousands of followers or at that time connections or followers or whatever they could do. Oh, in the old days, you could only have 30,000, it would stop, but then it changed so you could have unlimited. And continue to post more, continue to build more community, and that's kind of got me to where I'm at today.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I know you're a humble guy, but I'm gonna pull up your profile. So, here's our dear friend Damon Pistolka. Strongly encourage anybody out there listening, follow Damon on LinkedIn. While you're at it, follow our dear friend John Leroy on LinkedIn. I would love for you to follow myself. Damon, let's talk a little bit about, you got really intentional here. You've got over 90,000 followers on LinkedIn. For friends out there in the apparel industry, this is really the place to be for B2B. Give us like a little one-on-one overview. What are some things that they should have on their profile? Just some basics. You can talk a little bit about the banner, like you've got your QR code, headline. Let's cover some of the basics here.
Well, first of all, get a banner image. Hey, just don't let it dead space whatever they put in there from LinkedIn. I mean, because you got that's a first place you should do, at least logo or something else. I stuck the QR code in there because I thought it would be interesting to see how many people could actually go to a website for the QR code, and I get a few with that. Make sure you got a decent headshot too. And it doesn't have to be in a suit or anything like that. It just has to be clear. Got to be able to see who it is and do that. But I think that, looking into the text, the headline is where I was always hosed up on that, because your headline really should tell people what you do
Mhm.
and the benefits you provide. Because if it says CEO at or says engineer at, it's not really doing you that much good.
Mhm.
Salesperson at, um, people want to know what you're doing. You're helping, like I'm helping athletic clubs put cool clothes on their kids.
Mhm.
Something like that. You want
Right.
that kind of thing showing up in there.
Right.
So yeah, that's the first thing, is really, really speak to your audience with your headline, because that's what's going to show up everywhere.
Well, I think that's phenomenal advice. And we always talk about, when you try to be everything to everybody, everyone, you become nothing to no one. So you've really niched down into your space. John, anything that you want to chime in as far as, we got you going on LinkedIn, anything that stands out to you so far, what we're discussing?
I got to update my headline. He's talking, and I'm like scrambling to look. I'm like, oh God, do I have a picture there? And then I thought Damon was reading my profile because it says CEO ads. I'm like, oh God, this is bad. So yeah, I definitely need to update the LinkedIn profile. We are nowhere near anywhere close to the journey you guys have been on in LinkedIn. I think started my profile, and I think it was blank for maybe 10 years. I just had it because that's what you do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really nurture it or take care of it. I also didn't understand it, and also the fact that for the better part, the vast majority of my business, we weren't marketing. And Kurt, you've helped me kind of climb out of my own head, right? Where it's like, and my grandpa used to say this all the time, like, tell the world what you're doing. And that was, and they didn't have this, it was more a pick up, go in the phone book and call. And my dad, my grandpa were natural born salesmen. And for me, it was always like, well, I'll feel comfortable telling people what I'm going to do um, when I have something worthy to show, right? And it was just like, well, you do, and I was like, well, I think it could be better. And you're never gonna not feel that it could be better, right? But to build that digital trust, Kurt, we've talked about this a lot, right? When we wanted to kind of peel back the curtain and show people what we were doing, that's great. And when we wanted to get into other verticals and other client spaces, if you don't have that digital trust, if you don't convey who you are and what you are digitally, you lose that opportunity. Like people want to say, hey, stereotyping is not real, but you really got, less than a second of actual personal time to make an impression. Digitally, it's probably even less than that, right? If you get an opportunity to someone to drag them to your website and they go verify you on LinkedIn, if it doesn't look cohesive, one, and two, active, you're not gonna gain that trust, and potentially you're gonna lose a customer. Then they're going to go to someone else that makes them feel safe, makes them feel, hey, this is a reputable company. Because with that B2B, B2C marketplace is becoming more and more digital. There's less and less. I'm saying this like this is completely personal, but less and less face to face business. So your face to face is that digital trust. And if you have a hard time conveying that because you're not doing it, then that's kind of on you. And I appreciate Kurt and Damon, you guys kind of saying, hey, instead of pushing me along, pulling me and saying, you got to do this type thing. So I got to update the my headline. I'll do that.
Well, I love it. So, Damon, your thoughts? Any response to John?
I understand completely. Coming from the sales, I was back when I was selling molded products back in the 90s, it was all driving and going and meeting people, and I had to convert out of this as well and really understand what digital trust, how you could build digital trust. And as I got started on LinkedIn and then the live streaming and the other things that I was doing in the videos, you really begin to see how you can do that by sharing thoughts, commenting on other people's posts if they're posting stuff, and really being honest. And what you find is over time, people will get familiar with you. They'll find if they like you or not, and it is a pretty natural process.
Yeah. So now we talked about the banner up here. We've got the headline, nice, handsome picture. Now you make it easy, Damon, as photogenic as you are. Now we scroll down here and we look at the about section. One tagline, John, that we'd love to share with folks is like, how do you out teach the competition? So the thing is, if you're stuck here, if you're struggling on like, hey, what do I put here? Man, just think about like, what's the problem that you solve? Who's that ideal customer that just loves you, worships you, just they love the t-shirt, the hoodie, the whatever product that you're putting out for them, that
Hmm.
and put that in your about. Any tips, advice that you have here, Damon, as far as the about section?
It's like you're saying, you really want your about section to have a nice hook statement at the top that's going to grab someone's attention about the exact kind of problems you solve, because there you got a lot of room in this section, but if they don't hit the more, see more, you don't get anything out of it, right? So that first couple of lines has to be really compelling, and then you can add the other things down the page, and the specific problems to let them know where they've been, and really, and you've helped other people do that.
Right. And I love what you have here. Is your business stuck in neutral? So you're asking the question. So yes, my business is stuck in neutral. You've built a business success, but lately you're feeling stuck. Does that sound familiar? That's where I come in. So like you're being very concise on like this is the problem. If you need operational excellence or HR, like I'm probably not the best fit for you. But man, if your business is stuck in neutral and you're looking for growth and certainty, you're the guy to go to. So, John, anything that you want to chime in as far as the about section here for our friends out there that we're looking to help build up their LinkedIn profile?
No, I think the leading with a question, right? I feel more than ever, at least in my opinion, where LinkedIn, like Facebook and LinkedIn, right? They started for two different purposes. Facebook was just kind of like collegiate networking, right? And sharing pictures with friends. No one thought eventually you'd be able to sell an old toaster or a VCR on there, among all the other things you could do on there, right? And I feel like within the last probably 36 months, I feel like LinkedIn, in my opinion, has become very more salesy, right? You get hit up, especially the more active you've gotten, which I have definitely. But you get requests for connections all the time. I use it as a sales tool to try and connect with people that are somewhat second or third connections with me. And when and you do get that, acceptance for connection or whatever they call it, you only got a couple seconds. Again, it's that digital trust. Okay, this is a real person. I do know or I don't know a parallel to find. I do know or I don't know. And you're kind of going through these visual but also mental checks. The visual, I know. The mental, hey, he's connected with me over here. What does he do? In those first 3 or 4 lines, does he solve a problem I'm currently having or not? And then if not, it's worthwhile to connect with this person because it's going to help my business or my personal relationships or whatever, or my network. So yeah, those first 3 or 4 lines after that, after the visual checks that you're kind of subliminally going through, um, will make or break that being an impactful connection or not, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally agree. Damon, any thoughts that you want to add on to John? Because next I want to talk about, I know we're a little tight on time, but I want to comment on a couple of posts. Anything that you want to add on that John just added?
No, I think he's right on line.
Yep. All right, perfect. All right. So we're talking about your profile, having a nice banner, strong headline, really being intentional with the about section. And Damon, one thing that we love to preach is like, don't make it about yourself. Make it about your ideal customer. We call them soulmates. So what's in it for your soulmate? What's the value that you bring to them? Let's talk about posting. You do an amazing job. You post 7 days a week. You've built up this incredible community, vibrant audience of 90,000 plus. Talk a little bit about your philosophy and your approach with your posts here.
Well, you need to, I think you need to be intentional with your posting strategy, what you want to be talking about and what you want to be sharing, because otherwise you're just out there yelling, right? Or whatever. You're in the middle of a field screaming, right? And so you want to understand what kinds of content people that your soulmate customers really enjoy, both from the fun standpoint and then from practical standpoint, things they could learn, things they should think about, and then ultimately too a little bit of what are some things that you do that could help them that you might spark a sales conversation. So it's not just one. And I like to use a 80-20 rule. 80% of it is helpful, educational, fun. 20% of it's going to be more sales focused. It's going to talk about this is something that I could help with. This is something that we may want to talk about, and really do it that way. But in the end, you have to be watching what's happening. How many comments are getting? How many likes are you getting? And what time of day you're posting. But the content's really important is to keep the content coming that your audience really enjoys.
Yeah, and what a great segue here because we just mentioned, I'll teach the competition. You've got a post right here talking about, right here, the best marketers aren't the loudest, they're the most helpful. So again, if you just dedicate yourself to be an unapologetic educator, how to help your ideal customers, those soulmates, move the needle. Now, what's interesting is you post a lot of videos that are very inspiring. You've got videos of like Steve Jobs here. I know you've got another one down here of like Tony Robbins. A lot
Hmm.
of inspiring type things. What's just again for somebody that's kind of new, or maybe they've been on LinkedIn, but they want to take the next level as you have. What's some advice you have as far as like videos, posting these images, these little quotes that you have, anything that you want to share there?
Well, I think really what we're trying to do is we're trying to gain, as John said, that second or two of someone's attention, right? They're scrolling through this on their phone, on their computer. What are you going to put into that post? A, first of all, from your tagline on the post, to B, what the image or the video that's going to stop the scroll, right? And really, I'm trying to get them to, with the video, the two lines that I have there, I want them to hit that more button to be able to see what's going on and actually put a like on it, read it, comment on it, and go from there. That's what it's all about. So you can even see, and what I've found over the years is that you can put, a puppy and a baby together in a video and post that with a very technical subject, and people will read the post. Now, the baby and the puppy together stopped the post, the scroll, got them to hit more. They'll read it and they'll comment about the text, not the video. This is something that I didn't believe, and it took a couple of years ago. Somebody told me this. I said, that's it's BS, right? But it's not. So your image, your graphic, a video, whatever you've got there, doesn't necessarily have to be 100% on topic. It just has to get people to stop and hit the more button.
Mm. Yep. Love it. Awesome. Okay. I know we're coming into time. John, your thoughts, comments. What do you want to add as far as like posting anything here that Damon shared?
Yeah, I think I actually just saw a video. She's Facebook famous. I know it's Insta famous is a word, but she started. She actually has a school now where she teaches people on how to be relevant and create engaging content, right? And she's, not going to hide a good looking blonde. And it's like you get all these people that say, hey, well, maybe the content you're going to help me coach me to make isn't relevant for my business. And she's like, you stopped on this post, didn't you? And the guy's like, yeah. And he's like, it didn't matter. You didn't even know what I was selling, but I got you to stop. And then I got you to listen, right? So if I can do that for you and you think I can't do it for your business, well, you got to get out of your own head and just let me show you what I can do. And I was like, I'm reading this because in my head, I'm like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, this isn't going to work for what I'm doing, but it probably will. But yeah, just that first hook or whatever it is to get you to stop is really the most important thing because man, there's so much out there. But yeah, Damon Kerr, I really appreciate your time. This was phenomenal, and love being a part of the show and what you guys are doing.
Damon,
Damon.
parting thoughts, words of wisdom that you want to share as far as anybody out there trying to get their LinkedIn journey kickstarted?
There's a lot of people that you can learn from on LinkedIn and see what's going on, but just get started. I mean, get started and be honest. Just share your thoughts, share your knowledge. It's fun.
Yep. Awesome. Well, Damon, thank you, dude. I appreciate you more than you can imagine. John, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Another great, powerful episode. Do us a favor, stop by Apparel Redefined, check out the website, all sorts of amazing things going on there. Connect with John, connect with Damon on LinkedIn, and continue the conversation. John, we've got some amazing, incredible, wonderful guests coming. We've got a loaded month coming up ahead of us with powerful information. So we will catch you guys on the next round. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day.